Swinson.
Thanks very much indeed, Mrs. Hill. I wanted to say that, in fact, perhaps surprisingly, I do find myself in agreement with the honourable member for Stone on one issue, and that is he's just back in his place, and that is that I do not believe that there is enough time this evening for debating these amendments. We do have 4 streams in front of us, and therefore, honourable members may be pleased to know that I intend to keep my remarks fairly short. But despite agreeing with him on the lack of time for the debates on this issue, I'm afraid I cannot support his amendments. Without going over the points I made in my earlier speech again, I do believe that stating the competencies of the EU, which are already in existence, is an eminently sensible move, clarifying the current situation. And while we may disagree on whether shared competencies on energy and other matters are a good thing, I do believe that they are, and hence I will not feel able to support his amendments.
Give way?
I will give way, although I do not intend to detain the House for a very long time.
I appreciate that, but could we have some clarification about the position of a variety of representatives of her party that represent coastal communities who, when in Orkney and Shetland, whether as MPs or MSPs, are quite happy to introduce the common fisheries policy, but in this House apparently are in favour. What is the position of the Liberal Democratic Party on this policy?
Indeed, the honourable gentleman does, in fact, precede me. I was coming on to marine biological resources, or fish, to mention his amendment number 222, which stands in his name, and I do hope he'll have the chance this evening to put his points forward. Now, my honourable friends, although they are not here at the moment, I know my honourable friend for Orkney and Shetland, and indeed the relevant members of the Scottish Parliament, do share many of his concerns about the common fisheries policy, and indeed many of my right honourable friends in coastal and even in landlocked constituencies like mine share those concerns. We do have problems with the common fisheries policy. However, the reason I would say that we cannot support his amendment on Amendment 222 is actually that even if it were passed, it wouldn't change the current situation, because the European Court of Justice ruled in 1979 on the issue of marine biological resources. Effectively, the EU already has exclusive competence, saying, and I quote, "The power to adopt measures relating to the conservation of the resources of the sea has belonged fully and definitively to the community." So, given that, if the honourable gentleman, right honourable gentleman, just let me pursue the point further, there therefore would not be any change to the current situation. Now, of course, even if their amendment was passed, now, of course, we do want to see change. The current situation is not adequate, and so we will continue to argue for root and branch reform of the common fisheries policy. The decision-making needs to be taken at a local level. However, it is the case that fish move, and there therefore is a sense in making sure that there is some coordination at a European level of fish stocks. That is not to say that it's not possible to have much more devolved local decision-making, and I would even say I very much welcome the new scheme that in Scotland means there will be more control over the cod stocks through the conservation credits, and I think that would be a different way forward. I will now
firstly, can I happily accept the endorsement of the wonderful work of the Scottish Fisheries Minister, Richard Lochhead, but can I ask the Honourable Lady Elizabeth Atwill, who's a distinguished Liberal member of the European Parliament, on the 24th of November 2004, supported a motion at the Fisheries Committee saying, quote, "considers that within the context of other exclusive competences of the EU, which are detailed in the draft constitution, the inclusion of the conservation of marine biological resources is anomalous and unjustified." Given that, when did the Liberal Democrats change their mind and why?
Well, the honourable gentleman quotes something from a document 3 years ago in the European Parliament, and I, quite frankly, I think our position is incredibly clear on this. The exclusive competence is currently set down in EU legislation, and the right honourable gentleman should recognise at least that even if his amendment is passed tonight, nothing will change. So it is pure political posturing on his side. So with that, Mrs. Hill, I would like to let other members have the chance to speak, but I will regrettably not be able to support the amendments in the various names of the honourable gentleman and right honourable gentleman this evening.